Hello, Legionnaires, and welcome to episode 225 of RPG Digest. I am John Maxley-Auschlow, and I'm going to try not to be a curmudgeon critic and judge today, but just to make sure that, things are normal. Along with me, as normal, is Brett Heathen Dog Grissomer, and back with us, Kevin Boomgun Siembieda and Sean Owen Roberson. He doesn't get a special call sign. He was gone too long. And they're going to update us about some TMNT stuff. We're going to dive into Palladium as a framework and how to kit bash Palladium settings. Before we get to all that, though, first and foremost, I am extremely grateful you are with us here today, and I sincerely thank you for spending your time on RPG Digest. Special shout out to our new viewers. I hope you enjoy this live stream. Share it with your friends and come back to join us again. Please consider supporting Legion Myth through the links in the live stream's description. Rumble rants and super chats of less than $20 will be read at the end of a segment. I wouldn't call it a segment. We'll read it at an appropriate time. But those are $20 or more. I will read as immediately as I can without derailing the conversation. And one more time, real quickly, we don't do this to be greedy. We do this because Kevin and Sean have limited time, and you guys asked 42,006 questions, and we can only get to a few of them. So understand we got to prioritize somehow, and so we're going to prioritize backers. Now, with that said, I want to thank you very, very much for your kind donations, and let's talk to the panel. What is good today, gentlemen?
Everything.
All right. Well, wow. I can't top that. If everything is awesome,
good. I mean, that's a
kind of that Lego song now.
Everything is awesome. Yeah.
Let me see.
We're pretty happy. So
that's good. Well, Kevin now has Sean back and can start putting him to work finally again. And so Kevin,
I was working the whole time.
Relaxed. They keep telling us stories like, oh, he was overseas working. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Come on now. No.
Hey, Brett, I'm going to get a couple things ready to go here if you don't mind continuing the intros here real quickly.
Right, well, what I'm going to do is we have a membership update and a $10 donation. So I'm going to read those, even though the membership update I don't want to read because it's ludicrous speed nonsense.
Hey, you know what he paid for it? He gets to be
ludicrous. I know, which is why I'm still doing it. When are we getting a new RPG? No TMNT, but Cyberpunk. All right. See, this is Polly. You're one of the people who's not happy unless they're getting more and more and more. So you be happy with TMNT. And
we talked about this on Friday, though. Somebody told me that one of the Rifts books actually has. Cybernetics or and I was like, there you go. You take that, you turn it into a noir setting with neon lighting, and you got your cyberpunk.
And yeah, boom, cyberpunk. Bam, there you go. Oh, and Heathen Dog, shifters are heroes. Play one, not an NPC. Principled alignment. Okay, there's so much wrong to unpack in just those 3 sentences.
Wow.
Shifters are heroes. That is just blatant crap. All right, absolute garbage. No one has ever looked at a shifter and says, "Oh yeah, hero of the people." No. At least once in every shifter's career, he's going to open a rift to somewhere bad, and something bad's going to step through. All right. Now, whether he survives it or not, everyone around him is going to be punished for that. All right. So blatant wrong. Not as an NPC. I wouldn't even have. Technically, you have to have them as NPCs because you've got to have bad guys or idiots. And that's what NPCs are for.
I'm wondering if Heathen Dog has any opinions about the
absolutely right. You cannot be a principled shifter. You know why? Because they're also witches.
No, they're not witches.
They're also witches.
No, they're not witches.
They're super witches. So
you read the books?
I've been waiting.
They're just witches, and now they're super witches.
I've honestly been waiting for this on one of the gamer talks where I actually, in the future, I really want to have this discussion between Heathen Dog and Palladium. I'll moderate it. I'll be the moderator in the middle between shifters versus, good shifters being good versus shifters being hell no, never. Because I'm in the middle on that.
Who hooks their soul, aka their little red wagon, to a supernatural entity that flip a coin. Oh, it's bad. Stuff like that is not only stupid, not a hero, right? But also not principled alignment, because you wouldn't do that unless you were absolutely sure that the person you're hitching your soul to the thing you're hitching your soul to, what had, good intentions for the world and all people, big and small, which you can't do. So I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just wrong. This is blatantly wrong.
So let me just say, we appreciate your passion, Heathen Dog.
And I want to say one more thing too. I think the suggestion of a cyberpunk RPG is really cool. I like cyberpunk, the aesthetic, and Kevin and I are really into the old I guess you'd say Bubblegum Crisis and Crash and 80 Police Files and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something that we think is really cool. But you can do a lot of it right now, right, with like the Bionic source book and with the various types of city rats and stuff like that.
And maybe we can talk about that in the kit bashing session as well, where sometimes you can kit bash your own ideas together just based on the resources available. I didn't even think about that.
Well, the interesting thing about, like, for instance, Cyberpunk is it exists in Rifts, and I think Rifts would be Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is often defined as high-tech, low-life. There's a lot of that in Rifts. But for your traditional, like, kind of splicing and slicing and all this kind of stuff, a lot of that does happen in, like, more contained areas like the mega cities. Or I would think you could probably run a pretty badass cyberpunk game in the new German Republic or Japan. Yeah, as well.
Oh,
so,
Japan, definitely.
Yeah, where you'd have a more, and that has a lot of cyberpunk stuff in there as well.
Yeah, so in the Japan source book, a lot of the just common people have cosmetic cybernetics, just all like 30% of their bodies all chrome, just because it's cool.
Yeah,
and it's bad.
Yeah, I think you can do it in Rifts, and there is a lot of there's a lot of material there for you to springboard from.
Yeah.
But,
anyway, Grizzly says, "Howdy, fellow Legionnaires, Palladium junkies. That time again, oh boy." To quote my favorite Bill Murray line, "Gimme, gimme, gimme. I need."
Thank you for the $10, and we're hopefully gimming you.
And then we have Timothy Ferrelli. It says, "BattleTech version of Palladium."
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's called Robotech.
That's Robotech. That is the long way of saying Robotech.
Well, no, I guess. Is
it
a Palladium version of BattleTech or a BattleTech version of Palladium?
Well, he said BattleTech. Actually,
BattleTech
by the words,
version
it's
of
goes the other
version of
direction.
Palladium. Well, then just play Lambs. Nobody did that anyway.
Don't they have a Mech Warrior game? Yeah.
Ninjas and Super Spies is another good one for a basis for a cyberpunk, because Ninjas and Super Spies has a whole lot of not just regular bionics and cyberware, but cosmetic stuff too that can be.
Might
used
have to
create
update
flavor.
that one though. Make it a 2020.
Yeah, I mean it's like the 80s. It's like definitely an 80s version of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But
It's that's more like the original Blade Runner type stuff. You can do
go.
that pretty well with Ninjas and Super Spies.
well, and actually Titan Robotics has a lot of cyberpunk ideas especially if you're going to go with the Blade Runner level, because of the way that, well, the whole conspiracy with Archie and all that. So,
all right.
But as far as gimme, we're working on it, boys and girls. That's what we're trying to lead up to. We were laying the foundation for all kinds of stuff, so we can just start belting things out and keep you guys all happy and excited about all the new stuff that's coming out, and including stuff that you've been waiting for and stuff that you have only dreamed of.
This is nice. I have no questions, just saying hi. Hi.
hi, Walter.
Hi. There you go. All right. And that's
So
everyone who's a backer.
Yep, we've got the backers updated. Actually, some of them on Friday said that they were going to wait until today, but they were going to do it to ask their questions. And guess what? Nobody's asking. Well, thank you for your memberships. Anyway, with that, let's start off before we dive into what our actual topics are today. Obviously, there's been a pretty big announcement this week for the TMNT stuff, and let me get this on the screen here for those who didn't get a chance to see it. There's been a pretty major update. Oop. All right, going gone gold. And is there anything in here that you guys want me to focus on right off the bat, or do you just kind of want to talk about all the fun happenings that people want to know about with regard to TMNT?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can just go through the announcement. There's a lot there. We worked really hard on it, and Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
If people are familiar with the gold idea for video games, it's like when you send your masters off to the printers and to be produced. So, but we're showing off some really cool here the art from the comic in the TMNT Guide to the Universe. It's now in the collection, the TMNT Transdimensional Adventures book, which is fantastic. Mike Majestic really outdid himself. So look forward to, because that book actually has 3 different comics in it, right? Because it's a collection of 3 books. So there's a lot of cool stuff like that you'll see this stuff as never seen before.
Nice.
It's very painterly. Now the black, white, and red edition versions of those, by the way, I just have to say, are gritty and killer stuff. Yeah. So it's much more traditional Turtles, but again, like no one's ever seen before, because we hired Jeremy Colwell, one of the best colorists in the industry for Turtles, to do it. So, and
the guy's a madman.
He's a madman.
He did amazing stuff with grayscale and reds. And
we originally said I don't know if for fans who may not, I wasn't really familiar with the black, white, and red concept because I'm not a huge comics guy, but there's some really cool black, white, and red comics, and basically they take black and white panels and add like just red, like pure red, as kind of a highlight.
Yep.
But we asked Jeremy Colwell, he'd never apparently worked on anything like that before, and he's like, "Is this what you mean?" And he sent back some stuff where he'd instead painted over the characters with like an ink wash, basically. So it was a grayscale ink wash, and then gone in with reds and yellows and oranges and did these color bursts.
So you have beautiful different shades of red and grays and the hint of yellow or orange here and there.
So it's definitely not like a one color ad.
And it was hilarious because he sends in those samples and says, "So is this what you're looking for?" And we're like, or is this what you're expecting? And we're like, no, but yes.
Yeah, but we want you to. Yeah,
you didn't know we were expecting this.
Right. It was so cool. And I mean, no one's ever seen anything like this before, I don't think. So it was more expensive to do, but and
it's a great example of why things have taken longer is when we've seen avenues to go down that can make the product superior, that's going to make fans like salivate. And we know this because we're fans. We've gone ahead and done it. Yeah. Because we know that there's never been anything like it, and that the fans will just go nuts. And I'm talking gamers, like comic book fans, fans of anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are going to look at this and go, wow. And especially with the black, white, and red edition, especially people who love the original black and white comics. Yeah. This is like a beautiful homage to Kevin, Pete, and those early fans.
Well, that was already the edition that I was looking forward to the most, and I mean, you haven't done anything to dissuade me from that.
Well, we were just kind of. It was interesting because it's. I mean, the text is the same essentially between the books, but there's different colors and headers and some of the a lot of the art, right? But even like little tiny like weapons or gear, war gear, stuff like that. But when it all came together, the visual effect is very striking, even more than Kevin and I had expected. And we'd seen the art; it had all been approved, quite a while ago. But when you take it in all together, it really is a special treat. So that has been really neat. But to go back in, you can keep going. Oh, one of the things I do want to point out, we do have an extra 16 pages in the book, the main book, TMNT and Other Strangeness. No price increase for anybody who backed the Kickstarter and anybody who's doing the pre-orders. So we hope you all appreciate that. That's above and beyond, what we had initially planned.
So something came up about the pre-orders, and it was both a question like, oh my God, there's a problem here. And then somebody found the answer during my Friday live stream. And apparently, and this isn't a blame thing. I'm just basically stating it the way it was stated to me. You guys didn't allow people that already filled in their survey to unlock them. So folks have to contact BackerKit in order to unlock their surveys, which I thought was weird because I've unlocked surveys before from other places. I'm getting everything here. No reason for me to do it on this one. But I guess there's like an option you guys can click in there. This is what BackerKit told them. There's an option there you guys can click on to allow people to unlock their surveys after they've already completed them.
So the surveys were intentionally locked.
Right, but I guess apparently they wanted to add more to their order.
Right. We announced that like sometime last year that we were locking the surveys so that you couldn't add more of the exclusive items to your
all right.
to your pledge, because we have to have very exact numbers. I mean, there's only one print run of all the Kickstarter exclusive items.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one print run, right? So we announced that we were locking in those numbers. So that was intentional.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, apparently somebody contacted BackerKit and actually got it unlocked and was able to make a change. So
well, then we got to sue BackerKit now.
I know, right?
No. I mean, that's just trying to do good by the fans, and I appreciate it.
And I didn't understand that. So in the last couple of weekly updates, I've mentioned, hey, if you're a backer, you can go in and add stuff.
Well, but you can't add any of the exclusive stuff.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Sorry,
you did know it. You did know it. You forgot.
Yeah.
Apparently, Wayne didn't catch it, which he knows it.
And the only reason I bring it up here, obviously not to cause any issues, but the only reason I brought it up here is because it came up in our Friday stream. Somebody's like, oh my God, we got this problem, but then found the solution to it. And then apparently that's what BackerKit told them. So
it's not a problem. It's working as designed. And basically they're convincing BackerKit to let them do something that
which is not going to impact us hugely.
I think it'll be fine. But when we got to make sure people don't do that going forward. I mean, we're sending this stuff off to the printer. We get.
Well, before we move on to the next thing, we have to read this one because it's $100. And do you want to read it from behind the? I'll read it.
Okay.
For 100 polyrobotics.
Either dog must play a principled animal mutant
Jesus.
shifter in Rift's game as a normal character. Kevin or Sean can run the game for you. Max just adjudicates the network to help the pain. Okay.
Wow, throwing me in there.
Now, Max, I want you to show everyone your shirt.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because a principled animal mutant shifter is the epitome of what your shirt is talking about.
I can't get my. There we go. We'll do that for a second. Leave your clown shoes at home.
Exactly, because that's exactly what a principled animal mutant shifter in Rifts is going to be. A little clown, big ass shoes. Cool looking.
I'm in, but I guess this is the type of clown shoes I like.
Useless. Utterly useless. God damn
thank you,
Poly
Robotics. Seriously, thank you very much for the $100. And you know what, $100 plus I got to see Heathen Dog squirm a little bit. You know what? That's a double win for me.
I'll let Kevin run that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
you'll get retribution from the creator, Heathen Dog.
I'm not going to be a fun player. I'm going to be mute. I can only communicate through tiny honks on my horn.
What?
Because I'm a clown.
I think we all know that.
All right. Again, thank you, Poly Robotics. That was really awesome donation.
We appreciate it.
Let's
let's keep going.
Remaster presentation, full color throughout. I'm going to read some of these bullets, but by all means, once I get through a few of them, if you want to go back and expand upon more, go for it. New animal abilities. Now, no, I gotta wait. Clarified and enhanced combat rules. We're definitely going to ask about that. New modern equipment, 20 new vehicles. There we go. We'll leave it at that for now. So a whole bunch of new stuff in there. My question about the new animal abilities is real simple. Did you basically pull them from After the Bomb? Because I liked a lot of those additional ones that were in After the Bomb.
I mean, I did look at After the Bomb for some of the animals were already pre-existing, but it's definitely not just like copy paste.
Sure.
I did a lot of work on the new animal. I wanted to make sure they were unique and it was fun and it was interesting and offered new options that people never had before. So same thing with shields. I know that's going to sound like a tiny thing, but I actually went through all the different Palladium games and looked at where shields were already presented and the rules, and then made sure that we had ancient and modern shields all on one table with condensed, comprehensive rules for use in any Palladium setting. That was kind of the idea with this, is let's establish a really great baseline, because Turtles does everything, right? Especially transdimensional TMNT. You can go into the future, you can go into the past. So that was one of the things that Kevin and I decided early on, and we tried not to oversell it during the Kickstarter and the initial crowdfunding, but now that we're on the other end of it, I think that we've added so much.
Okay, speaking of added so much,
Did they freeze?
I'm freezing.
I think they froze.
Oh, they froze. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh, there you are. Okay, you're back.
They're back.
A lot of this is going to be really pertinent to the discussion we're about to have. So, I think that's part of the and that's part of the reason why we decided it was worth all that effort. So
okay. Now, speaking of effort, clarified combat rules, I understand. Because the one thing that combat can be done differently in Palladium is clarification. Make it easier for everyone to understand immediately.
Right. That's
great. Now, enhanced, that one I can't immediately wrap my noggin around. Enhanced combat rules. What is? Can you give a general example of what enhancement means?
Sure. So one thing is that we have now, Palladium was originally designed to be a narrative system for gaming, and but one of the things that we've been asked for, and I think we've provided it, and the fans will be the judge. But there's a very clear movement, tabletop movement system, or you can use it for a realistic movement system, but it's based on it's something for use easily on tabletop with, for instance, if you got the miniatures, right? But that's in there with, and it should be very comprehensive for all the different types of movement and swinging and jumping and swimming and climbing you want to do. Plus, one of the things that's enhanced is there's the new feral combat style, but also the combat styles have been refreshed to make sure that it's really easy to know which maneuvers you can use without being trained in combat, and the different maneuvers that you unlock as either actions or even as reactions. So using certain maneuvers as a reaction is very clear now, but I think that enhances the potential for really neat combat interactions, because now high levels, there's the more elite training, right, where you've got like martial arts or assassin or ninjutsu, and then also as you gain levels, you're going to be able to do more and more really neat stuff in combat. I think it was the intention there all along in a lot of cases, but it's just the way it's presented, I think, is going to be way more obvious as people game through it.
Okay.
One of the other points.
Front loaded.
Yes. No, it's going to feel like the same game, right? A lot of this is, Kevin and I, he's had so many years of looking at the game, and we've realized that there's certain phrases, certain ways that things were presented that were confusing, especially, I think they were more obvious to a generation in the past, but as even the same people, as we move forward, we come to expect different things, or things be phrased different ways. So there's been a lot of that, where when this, I think, is going to be the addition of the rules that a modern reader is going to think is by far the closest to how Kevin would run a game.
So yeah, I just want to make clear, we did no major overhauls. We didn't take the rules and go, okay, how can we change this? It's just not like it's, TMNT 2.0. It's more like TMNT 5, 1.5 like 1.5, or basically Sean went through and said, how can we make this cleaner? How can we make this more easy to understand? And while I'm doing that, can I add a little this or that, or clarify this or that? A great example is including the spaceships and aerial and water vehicles.
It's also combat, right?
All in the same in the same book, so you don't have to be flipping through source books or even transdimensional TMNT. It's just all right there, clean, convenient, and it's just very cleaned up.
There's a lot more examples, for instance. So when you go through the combat terms section, because the combat rules are like a page, right? But when you go through the combat terms, there's a lot more examples in there. So this is exactly how you would use your automatic parry. This is exactly how you apply AR. Armor rating should be much clearer. The funny thing, it's the same rules. Like in the end, it's the same end effect, but it's explained using slightly updated terms and using basically new like logical procedures, right? But it's the same rules. So that's the thing, is what people are getting is the same game, but hopefully it should be more clear and well laid out than ever before.
So right now, anytime there's a rules clarification that somebody needs, everybody just opens up Rift's Ultimate Edition. Right. That's now, thing. Is it now going to be everybody opens up TMNT?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's our intention. Is for the next while. Yeah. That's that TMNT is, I think, the end all be all point that you'd want to reference a lot of this stuff from, because it's going to be the clearest.
Okay. Again, we don't want to spend 2 hours on this, folks. I know you guys have a lot of questions out there. We got 20 new vehicles, got modern equipment. We updated the original 1980s gear list. Aw.
Well, with the vehicles, a lot of adventure type stuff. If you notice in the list of extra vehicles, a lot of it's like hot air balloons and jet skis and stuff that I think would be really fun in a TMNT campaign. Real zany vehicles. But hey, it's great to have those stats in there so that you can use those straight out of the core book.
That means I can't have my Walkman anymore.
Well, you can. You can.
Finding cassette tapes might be a little difficult.
Just go check eBay for the price instead of the full book. Yeah.
And then we got 20 mutant animals, and I know this is something we've kind of discussed before.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got amphibians, octopus. So that came out of was that Roadhogs? Wasn't it Octopus and Roadhog? I think it was.
I think it might have been. I can't remember which book it was in.
I want to say it was Yucatan, but
they're way different now.
Are they okay?
Way cooler. There's
ferrets.
a lot.
You fixed the ferret. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh no, it's weasel. Weasel and ferret. Yeah. Actually, I'm happy about that one.
Gila monsters.
It's a lot of
Gila
fun
monsters. That's funny.
Yeah.
And it says new ability. Yeah, poison bite. Yeah, it's pretty easy. This is weird.
What?
I don't know how I feel about that picture.
Penguins.
He's afraid of mutant animals. So we also have, some of the hardcore fans will be excited. We have Karai from the original comics in there with a new illustration by Kevin Eastman and stats. And we also have a unannounced bonus mutant animal character. So that, I think, a lot of fans
fifth terror bear.
No. But more of a traditional type of mutant animal combatant than like doesn't have ninjutsu or anything like that.
Okay. Now, what we just kind of scrolled through here and very much just glossed over, guys, you can read this. The link to this update is in the description of this video. Whether you're watching the live stream or watching the video later, you can go look at it all right now.
Yep. It's on the Kickstarter page. You just go to the updates, and it's the newest update. So
that's just one book. Now we have the Transdimensional Adventure source book, another 256-page book.
Yep. And
then we got new Fugitoid stats.
Yep,
expanded vehicle creation rules.
Yes, big. Fugitoid, again, another thing Fugitoid was pictured in the original books but didn't have stats. So we actually got permission from Paramount because it's technically a separate property, a separate IP. But we got permission from Paramount to include Fugitoid as one of his stats as one of the stretch goals. So that's exciting. To me, that's cool. That's from when I was a kid, and reading Fugitoid stuff. And then the expanded vehicle creation rules. So This wasn't really talked about in the campaign. In the original TMNT Guide to the Universe, there were rules for creating aircraft and spacecraft, custom, not just like customizing, but from the ground up. And so I expanded this to include watercraft, basically boats, and landcraft. So most land based.
Is it going to be? So to be fair, I didn't have a lot of the expansions to the original TMNT, so I don't know how those vehicle construction rules were. But I did have Roadhogs, and we made lots of vehicles out of Roadhogs. Is it going to be comparable to that?
It's similar to that, but expanded. So you have you have a lot. You're going to have a ton more base options for like the frame of what you're building. Is it, how big is this land vehicle? How big is this boat? How big is what type of aircraft is it? And then you can go through. You have a budget, and it goes just by a budget, and you can custom build these things out. So if you want to create something using a budget for your players, and if they have like an agency they're working for, or some sort of or even if you might even have a low budget, right? Maybe they're putting something together in their garage and you're working something out with the game master. There's rules for all of that in there, which did not exist originally in the TMNT, because the Roadhogs and the rest of the After the Bomb, that's a separate intellectual property. So it's not part of this Ninja Turtles collection because it's not Ninja Turtles. So, but as the Palladium system was always intended to be a universal system, so when those books were published at the same time, around the same time, that's where you went for those things. But that meant that wasn't in the transdimensional, the three books that make up the new Transdimensional Adventures book. So
and it's funny you say that, because we'll be talking about how to mash all that together later too.
Right. Exactly. That's why I wanted to talk about a lot of this stuff. And going along with that, there are now expanded and comprehensive vehicle combat rules. So that includes basically water vehicles, like surface water vehicles. I don't have like detailed submarine dogfighting rules, but it's just to, and then
combat rounds become 5 minutes instead of 15 seconds.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. But then there's also the in the book I call it aerospace. It just folded the air and space into one. But that's completely revamped, including a lot of basically based off of the updates that Kevin had later done for Heroes Unlimited, and just all brought into a nice coherent system that all of our proofreaders and everybody really enjoyed and thought was the clearest presentation they'd seen yet. And it also has an adapted version of the chase rules from Ninjas and Super Spies. So, and clearly delineates, okay, if the chase gets to this point, it now enters vehicle combat, because that's the whole point with a chase. You're trying to avoid combat, right? And then, so it very clearly states how you can enter and exit that combat state, or different things like that. So again, it's gonna. I think people are gonna find it's gonna be very comprehensive for the Palladium system, all in one place, newly updated to all work together really well.
Now, this is somebody took Luke Skywalker's speeder after he sold it, brought it to his garage, and then customized it. This is what you get. A new radical new character sheet. Now, if you're a Kickstarter backer, you've already seen this, and it's interesting. I'm going to give you my opinion of this character sheet off the cuff. 99%, I really like it. And here's one of the things that it does compared to other Palladium character sheets out there. Actually has all the stuff, and it finds a way to fit, well, almost, unless you're really, really pedantic, all the stuff on the sheet. Reason I never use Palladium sheets is because my characters are like 7 pages long when it comes to abilities, guns, all that stuff. This one found a way to sneak almost all of that in there. Again, I'm sure you can find something that you have to write still in the margin, but every character sheet, right? Now, I understand why, and I'm not complaining. Personally, don't like the font, but I get it. And so I'm not going to complain about it. There are some other people who are really adamant about, like, oh my God, that font's horrible. No, it makes sense. And if you haven't seen it, it's more of a comic-y font. Well, look, it's a comic book that they're basing this on. Come on.
And it matches, it matches what's in the new books.
I'm just my I love things just be very plain, but I also like really plain character sheets. So, and this one, thank God, because it kind of has to be, because all the information on there is generally plain but useful. Things are where you want them to be. Combat stuff is all together. It's weird. So I am really, really happy with the character sheet all told. And I think that you guys out there, if you've had a chance to download it because you're a backer, you probably feel the same way I do. I know there's a few people on my forum or my Discord who've already been saying, I got to get in a PDF and change that font. Well, then go do that. Cool. But the layout is good. It's actually a character sheet that I would probably use at the table, and I never use corporate character sheets.
Cool. Well,
awesome.
We were actually, Jeremy Colantonio and I worked really hard on that. I don't know if most people may or may not know, I do have an associate's degree in visual design, but I mean, we put a lot of effort into it. We wanted it to be kind of like the new baseline. So if people just don't like the font, then that shouldn't be an issue in the future for any other Palladium type properties. But the other thing is it is very cool. There's some features that I think are kind of low key that are really neat. Is on the second page, you can, if you have the form fillable version, you can click and upload whatever image you want for the character portrait section, which I think is cool functionality that isn't out there a lot.
I should have brought it up.
And then the last page also does the math for you, and helps you doing the math with your BioE. So as you check off things or enter things into fields, it'll help total the BioE at the bottom of your sheet. So but no, and it's not like the character sheet is just for the first book. It includes and covers everything from the Transdimensional Adventures book as well. So it's not like, when you go and play a game and then it had 5 updates and the character sheet doesn't reflect any of the concepts in the new source books. This one includes all of that stuff. So hopefully people will really enjoy it and like it. It's designed to be, I want to use it, right? So I want it to be exactly what we need. I don't think there's probably some character build that you could roll randomly or find that would mess this up, but it should be for 99% of characters. It should have all the lines you need for your skills, professional skills, your amateur skills, but no more. For most characters, it should have plenty of lines for your weapon proficiencies and your weapons. I mean, I know there's some characters that they're like a Swiss Army knife of I hit all these weapons on my person.
I mean, characters grow outside their character sheet anyway for pretty much any game you've ever played. Right. This will get you started for sure, and you can understand it.
And it should have everything you need for most players and most characters. But I do still suggest printing it out just one-sided. So if you have all 3 sheets, then you have 3 different pages you can write on the back.
We don't need to belabor that. We do have a super chat here. Grizzly Beardo for $10 says, with After the Bomb being separate IP, will Transdimensional still have that one time period section with a post-apocalyptic era populated almost entirely by mutant animals?
Yes.
And is not After the Bomb.
Yep. It does have I think it's Mutant World is what it's called. I can't remember.
Mutant Crisis.
Mutant Crisis. I think that's it. Yeah. And I rewrote all so that's a bonus that you're getting is it's a newly imagined, distinctly different IP from After the Bomb. But we do say in the book, for instance, that you go ahead and use After the Bomb if you'd like, a much more expanded version of what you're going to find in there, or as even alternate, because it's transdimensional. You could have alternate dimensions of the Mutant Crisis. So, but what's in there is there's a lot of new, slightly, I guess just new, really recontextualized but similar entries. So it should be fun. It's not just a repeat of what everyone's seen before. There's a lot of little things like that are cool.
These two are causing a lot of questions. The second one we've kind of talked about, but let's talk about this first one for a second. Attributes reimagined. People are like, wait, what? So are my characters not usable across a different Palladium universe? Like, no, they're not going to do that. But we completely rework attribute section to make tracking your character's incredible abilities as smooth as a ninja stealth move. Nice. Now bonuses leap off the page, make it easier than ever to understand your mutant's true potential.
Yeah, that should probably say attribute section reimagined. I mean,
there we go.
It's the exact same attributes. It's just
Easier to read.
easier to read. And one of the things we did here is I'm a big fan of natural language. So instead of saying just IQ, it says intelligence in parenthesis IQ, and it says strength in parenthesis PS, just so that it's easier to read the word than having to memorize for newer players, especially. But even old players at a glance will know, oh yeah, my prowess, PP, right? But it's the same thing with the same bonuses out of the same tables from the core book, right? So same core system, just reimagine how we're displaying that information to be as easy to read and navigate as possible. And I think it's actually really great. I think we've fit everything important in there. So.
All right, sorry, I just couldn't deal with not doing this anymore. Boom, there. All right. What I like about it is you didn't throw a lot of weird extra art on here, like Ninja Turtles kicking stuff all over the place or whatever. You actually used the sheet to do what a sheet is supposed to do.
It's very clean.
Yes.
It's I wouldn't say it's minimalistic, but it's very economical with information.
We'll agree to disagree on the use of terminology here. But I get why you did it, so that makes sense.
Should be the same from the previous sheets, I think. So.
No. I'm talking like, you're saying IQ. Well, we're going to use intelligence so that people understand it better. If anybody didn't understand IQ, I should
at a glance
be playing role-playing games. But we're missing. Oh, speed's down here. Okay, I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, because your speed is factors
is
into
an attribute, but it doesn't work like other attributes.
Right. It's similar to like hit points or SDC or something, right? In that it's more of like a quantitative attribute for most characters that it isn't. Yeah, it doesn't have the same kind of effects on your skill rolls and things like that. It's more about how far can you move, right? So
yeah, professional skills, amateur skills, combat style, everything that you need right here. And then you're like, that's not enough. But then you go down here. And I really like this. Does it have everything you'll ever need? No, not for an experienced character. But does it get you started? Really does. And now people might even remember to use Entangle. That's one that in my game set people always forget even exists in the game. And there you go. A very clean equipment. If you get more equipment than that, guess what? Just put it on the back of the character sheet like Sean said. All your basic combat stuff is here. Second page.
And also, by the way, if you scroll up, sorry, just one thing I want to point out.
What do you want?
It's just right above that. We also have your combat style should be easier than ever to notate all of your different bonuses and stuff that are critical. And also your armor is right below the hit points and SDC section. So it's easy to see, oh, my AR is this, my SDC is this. So again, a lot of it's like, how did we group these things together?
Yep.
How easy, it's just, like I said, the full words for the attributes is just so for ease of recognition at a glance for new players and stuff too.
So you got your skills over here, right? But you have your combat starting with hit points here. Just keep scrolling down.
Yep.
Hit points, STC, armor, combat style, combat actions. There you go.
Yep.
And let's see. Do I have an image? No. You know what? I probably don't want you to see the images on my computer. So let's not click on that.
Let's not open that can of worms here.
Then we got Mutant Origins here. Your saves, your psionic abilities. Don't worry, this will be blank in my games. And then, did you expand the psionic abilities from base TMNT?
No, they've had an editing, I guess you'd call it, pass. Clarity pass, but it's the same. We didn't add any psychic abilities to the core book or to the transdimensional adventures. There are some updates to the individual abilities for clarity and stuff like that, like I said, but that's it.
Now, do you want to see all the additional powers that they added to the game? Look quickly.
You can go down. By the way, anyone can download this for free, right? So,
shh, don't tell them that.
Yeah, why did you say that? No. He's lying. You have to back it, and then you can die. Everyone knows that. Come on.
Hey, first hit is free. You go download the character.
First hit is free.
Yeah, and I starred that actually. Would these sheets be used in other Palladium games? Yeah, this one.
I think you could easily use this with any of our other games. You might run into a Rifts or Heroes Unlimited character, maybe you have too many skills for the number, because this was designed for TMNT and other Strangeness, the Redux.
So you're gonna need a lot more skill section.
You might want, maybe you won't if you're playing a Vagabond. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it just depends on what kind of character you're playing. And it doesn't
Does it lay
have
the groundwork for going forward, though? Can we expect to see more stuff like this from future Rifts Beyond the Supernatural, etc. products?
Yeah, well, as we work forward with products, this is definitely the intention of this is hey, this is the kind of stuff you'll see moving forward from us when we do character sheets for the next release or something, right? So
okay, cool.
But it is designed to be something that could be, especially if you are saying, oh, hey, for the newest, most comprehensive list of Palladium rules, I'll have the 2 new Turtles books, but we're going to be using that. Maybe you want to modify obviously the skill list and stuff like that for Rifts or something like that. But if I want to use these rules as my core rules, this should be a great character sheet to use alongside that.
I get that. I can't quite get that all on the page, but lots of new tribute art, 23 extra full-page illustrations.
Yes. So this is one of those things that we had a lot of artists, famous artists, including like all the original Mirage Studios guys, want to be a part of this, which we're ecstatic to have them be a part of it. But this did take time, right? We have there's a lot of stuff that we have to submit everything for approvals and give feedback and go back and forth. So we hope everybody appreciates all the extra work we put into this. But it's just hard to say no, and these guys are supremely talented. When you get the books, you're going to be like, whoa. And I mean, fan favorites, like Ramon Perez just did a killer illustration for the books. And then we had a really great illustration by Stephen Cummings. Just a lot of fan favorites.
Talbot.
Yeah. And as we had announced some, like what was your friend's? Can't I think of his name?
But Larry Elmore.
Larry Elmore, right? He did a sketch, which then we had. I think it was.
I can't wait to see his work. He's my favorite D&D artist of all ever. Like I love the work that he did for like Dragonlance, and I won't dive in that rabbit hole. But
basically retired, right? And so for him offering to do a sketch and inks, and then we had other artists do the inks and colors. It was a really cool thing to have him be a part of it. I don't know if he would have done it for anybody else but Kevin. So, but
maybe
no,
a year ago. Sorry.
Oh, I was just say we're really excited about all the artists, and I mean, there's a whole list in this update. We list every single artist in both books for the tribute art, but for us, that was a big ad, and we hope that the fans appreciate it as well.
About a year ago, I was on a live stream with Larry, and I was this close. If he could have found it, I would have had a sneak peek at some of the art that he did for you guys. I'm like, Kevin's probably not going to like this, but what's he doing for TMNT? And he was digging around trying to find it. He couldn't find it. I was like, dang it. All right, and then again, whole bunch of tribute art here. You got a bunch of names, folks, in the description of the video, or if you go to the Palladium books, the Palladium Kickstarter for TMNT, you will find this information there. I will keep that link in the description. Terror Bears are awesome. So are the Weasels.
Sophie knocked it out of the park. She did a great job. Well, and there's just so many. I mean, David Peterson, we could go through and. There's so many that are just like fantastic artists with their own acclaim that want to be a part of this. That was really, really awesome.
Turtles. What did Turtles have to do with this? Is that the new Usagi Yojimbo?
No, that's the Rat Pack.
That's the Rat Pack
from Turtles Go Hollywood.
Oh, see, I never had that one.
Well, you will now.
I will now, yeah.
It's a great adventure, by the way, and I did a lot of updates to it, so it should be as easy to game master as just about anything you've ever read. So even new game masters will know exactly how we would intend you to kind of interact with your players.
All right, so that is generally everything for TMNT. Any final words before we get to our real topics here? Any final words that you have about TMNT that we didn't cover that you think needs to get out there for folks?
It's going to be great. You're going to want it. If you loved the original game or always heard about it and never got it, you'll want to get this. If you've never heard anything about it, but it sounds cool, it is, and you'll want to get it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff, and this isn't this is an example of, for instance, the new rules for education and skills and when to make skill rolls and how difficult tasks should be, whether you should get bonuses or penalties, whether tools are required. There's a lot of stuff like that it's very short, but it should be sweet, and it should be some of the best explanations you've ever seen of the Palladium system as intended by Kevin Siembieda. So,
and it's a great intro game.
It's and that's we really intended this as, it is a redux of the original classic, but that was intended to be a great intro game. And we want to make sure that this was still a great intro game for new and old fans alike. So
the people who might be, this isn't going to be like the Rift's second Ultimate Edition with everything plus the kitchen sink in there. This is to get your feet wet and get you started and get you ready for. I mean, to be fair, you can still play every other Palladium game knowing these rules, but it isn't going to be that kind of super. Let's just throw everything in there that we can, like Rifts.
No, and this is. It's just, but it is complete. So if you are a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even if you're just a collector, I think that we intended these to be such high quality that you could throw it on your bookshelf or on your coffee table or wherever, and it just looks fantastic. And at the same time, see the art and a lot of things presented in ways that you'd never seen before. By some of the best colorists in the business. Obviously their coloring work by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and all these fantastic artists like Jim Lawson. And then it has everything. So there's no like, oh, I can't get turtles, or you're like me, Max. I mean, when I was a kid, there was no internet. I didn't understand, how the world worked in general. I just kept going back to I didn't know. I never even thought of mail order. Right, I didn't even grok that when I was a kid, so I just kept going back to the comic book store to see if, do they have any other books? I didn't even know what existed in the Turtles line, right? So what I had from Turtles was just what I saw at Nan's Games and Comics in Houston, Texas. So that's now you will have everything, right?
For me, it's because I was poor and I never really ran games out of modules anyway. So anytime I saw a module, I pretty much avoided it. And it really irked me when I found out things later, like, but this module had this great write-up on, we'll just say, like, vehicle building. Like, why put that in a module? But
right. Well, I mean, that's one of the things I did get was Turtles Go Hollywood, and for me, it was like revelatory in how you game master and how you can create all these characters and plot twists and stuff like that. But yeah, we really hope that everybody enjoys all this. Plus, all the peripherals that we're doing for this, the dice, the Game Master screen, the minis, it should all be top-notch quality. So, some of that is leapfrogging a lot of abilities for Palladium as well. And we hope to be, if you enjoy this stuff, let us know, but we can tell when you buy it. So like the number one add-on is the Game Master screen. So, that those are things that also fans can look forward to in the future as we move forward. Is when we do new products and new releases, we'll be doing more things like dice and Game Master screens and things like that.
Okay. 2 questions. One is a super chat. Grizzly Beardo for $5. Thank you very much for the $5. Grizzly Beardo says, speaking of art, not to be that nerd, but are you sure that biplane piece in the post is Kevin Long? It looks more
it's
like
not
Jim
Kevin
Lawson.
Long. That's definitely Jim Lawson with colors by Mike Majestic. Yep.
Did it say? Let me scroll up to the.
I wonder if there was a mistake.
The misprint in it. It says Kevin Long.
I'm trying to find. Wow, that's way up there. That's okay, and it said, it says art by Kevin Long with colors by Michael Majestic.
Yep, that's wrong.
That's wrong. Yep.
Good eyes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go beat somebody up. I'm gonna go put some rocks in a sock or some soap in a sock and beat up Granny.
Yeah, you have to use rocks now because no one makes D batteries anymore.
The second question.
You can't use rolls of quarters because no one has money anymore.
See, and I
I
thought
know,
it was
right?
right? But I guess we go easy in the Air Force. So
Yeah, right. So after the Kickstarter's over, and this question, this is coming from me. I'm curious. When the Kickstarter's over and these books are for sale for real, one, are they going to be in paperback?
No.
So there's going to be no there's going to be no printing out there. That's just going to be a paperback version of this game.
full color hardcover.
Okay. Well, then I don't even have to ask the second question. All right. So we go. Okay. I hope that answers.
Just so people do understand, we have a lot of variant covers and then the collector's edition, muted and green foil editions, but the black, white, and reds will be for general sale. Just want to make sure everyone knows that. So
wait. That's going to be the general one?
No. It will also be for general sale in addition to the standard full color versions. So at I believe the same price.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was a little different in the pre-orders, because when we announced the project, we didn't know it would be so popular. So we were trying to make sure we could cover our basic printing costs. Our philosophy originally with the black, white, and red edition is we're nerds and fans, but we were willing to pay the big monies for the great art and a separate print run, I guess you should say, for those copies.
Yeah.
So we were just hoping to break even, but it looks like
it's hugely popular.
It's hugely popular. So that's less of an issue now. So it is going to be at general retail, it will be the same price point as the standard edition of the books.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's good for the TMNT update. I don't know if I'm going to clip that out for future and make multiple videos out of this, but if I do, this will be about the point that I do that. So to remind me, I got to do this. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to all the folks out there that you think want to know more about TMNT. And hey, even if they didn't back it, Kevin says you can back it now, but apparently you can't.
Well, you can pre-order, but you won't be able to get the Kickstarter exclusive items.
Right.
You can just pre-order at a better price point the main items that are going to be going to retail.
See, you can still back it, but even after the fact, you'll still be able to get it. It'll be in hardcover for you. You're going to love it, and you'll have all the new updates that Palladium is trying to do. So please, like I said, like, subscribe, and share it, and we'll see you in the next video if I clip this out. But we're going to see you right now. So
Hey,